Hi, I'm Brian from Atomic-Moto. These are the Gaerne SG-12 boots, and this is our review. First, a little trivia on the name Gaerne, just in case you're interested. The name Gaerne is, as many Italian companies do, a combination of letters from the founders or owners' names. In this case, the owner of Gaerne, the founder of Gaerne, is Ernesto Gazzola. And so they took the first two letters of his last name, Ga, and then the first three letters, it used to be four letters, of his first name, Erne, for Ernesto, and put them together, Gaerne, so that's where the name comes from. But as far as the SG-12 boots, first of all, these boots come in sizes 6, which is a European 39, all the way up to a US size 14, which is a European 49, great range of sizes there. They weigh 4.7 pounds for the size 10 or a 44.5, and the SG-12s are made in Italy. Let's talk about the construction of the SG-12. First of all, this is an example of brilliant industrial design. It is a very durable, very high-functioning product, but the plastic pieces on it are actually quite simple and quite clever. Gaerne is very good at making a high-end product without making it too complicated. But there's a lot of plastic on this boot, and those pieces of plastic also overlap. And a good example of that is the shin plate you can see right here. The upper shin plate nests over a little guard here that is on the second, or either number 3 or number 2, depends on how you're counting, strap for the buckle, which overlaps the strap for the number 2 or number 3, and then that comes down pretty close to this one and has pretty nice action. There is a razorback piece around the back of the boot. It's kind of like a wishbone. Comes down the back, nests into a little tongue and groove system right here. Wraps around under the buckle base and then ties into the hinge. That's a very supportive piece that overlaps the heel counter, and then plastic on the inner side of the boot, plastic around the toe. And I want you to notice this because we're going to circle back to it later. The entire inner piece, inner side of the boot is all plastic, overlapping, and it doesn't just have one area to grip the bike with a rubber burn guard. Up here on the top, it also has a second one here on the ankle and the little one down on the bottom, a little protector there. So lots of exterior plastic on this boot, very cleverly designed. The mechanical hinge on this boot is one of the best in the industry. It is a 4-pivot hinge, 2 on the inner and 2 on the outer side. Has great, super smooth action. The action on this boot is great right out of the box. No break-in needed. Another cool thing about it, I'm going to try and show you that, this hinge somehow has actual motion, not just fore and aft, not just this way with the boot, but it also actually pivots a little bit side to side this way. I'm going to try and show you what I mean here, if I can get this in front of camera too, and torque on it. The boot has a little movement on the hinge. You can look right here, a little movement on the hinge there, and also on the inner side. And what that does is, if you're standing on the motorcycle and you're kind of moving your weight from side to side to weight the foot pegs to keep the bike under control, or you're moving around a little bit, your body can move, but the sole of the boot still stays flat on the foot peg, and that's a brilliant design, a brilliant feature. I haven't found another boot that does that, but the SG-12 does. It's a 4-buckle boot. Gaerne's buckles, say it over and over again, are the ones that all others should be judged by. They're very simple, very durable. They work whether they're dirty or clean, whether you got gloves on or no gloves on, whether it's hot or cold. They are super durable, and they are easy to replace, although I doubt you would ever need to, because again, they're so durable. Both the straps and the buckles are great on them. The shin plate, something I did not mention. If you look right here, you can see that there are 3 screws on the shin plate. What that allows you to do is to disconnect the shin plate, move it to another location a little farther forward, and then open up the circumference around the top of the calf to either accommodate someone who has a larger calf or is using a big, thick knee guard or a knee brace. It's a welt sole. The sole pattern on the bottom has a little bit of stippling, a little dimpling, and then some edges. So it's not like you get off the motorcycle and you fall down. It's not lugged though. Boot has a lot of padding. In fact, the SG-12 is the boot with padding that all other boots should be judged by. It has this spectacular section of thick memory foam here. On the outer side, there's a little donut that your malleolus slips right into, and then kind of a ring around it, and then a nice thick pad on the inner side that actually wraps around the Achilles tendon. A little cutout here so the heel drops in very nicely, some padding around the top of the boot. But when you are putting this boot on, there is a noticeable time when you just kind of slide in and go shunk and drop into place, and you get just a ton of support from all of that fantastic quality and abundant memory foam. One of the most secure feeling boots out there for that. And then last but not least, this is kind of cool. It is one of the few boots that actually has some kind of upgraded footbed. This isn't an expensive footbed by any stretch of the imagination, but it at least has a little bit of extra material on the bottom, a little thicker in the heel area, and that allows your foot to kind of nest in a little bit better, give you a little bit more cushion and make the boot feel quite a bit better when you have it on. Let's talk about the fit of the SG-12. Gaerne's reputation is that their boots are wide, and that is mostly true, but it's a lot more complicated than that. The boot has a fairly wide toe box. It's great for people that have a fairly wide foot. But it actually is pretty good for people that don't have a wide foot because of all that padding in the rear half of the boot, you know, from here back, that helps hold you in place. So if you have narrow foot, you're not going to flop around this boot, but if you have a wide foot, you're going to fit pretty well also. And one of the things I like to say is that we tend to think of fit in a two-dimensional sense, bigger, smaller, narrower, wider, but it's really much more complex. It's a three-dimensional thing, and the shape of a product, be it a helmet, a boot, a jacket, a glove, etc., the shape of the boot is really where the rubber meets the road. And in the case of the Gaerne SG-12, the shape is fantastic. We ship these boots out the door, and we get very few returns for fit, less than other products, because it just works on a greater percent of the population, and the fit of it is just outstanding. Let's talk about the protection of the SG-12. Now remember, when you're looking at protection, you should think of a boot, parse it down into zones, starting with the midsole and the forefoot zone. You can't bend the toe of this boot. No way, no way, no way. The midsole on this is very, very firm, and so if you do like I've done, which has happened more than once, catch your foot in between a rock and a hard place on the bike, the boot is not going to bend and allow you to get a metatarsal injury. I've knocked the bike offline. I've lifted the rear swing arm of the bike by catching my toe on something and having the bike come up behind it. Boot is super strong. The ankle area of the boot, because of all that padding and all of this plastic, is phenomenal. The support of it is amazing. The shaft of the boot can be cinched very snugly. Again, that upper adjustable shin plate helps quite a bit. And here's the coolest thing about the protection that not a lot of other boots do, and Gaerne does quite well. If you look on the inner side of the boot, all these plastic pieces, as I said, overlap. And what that means is that there is no soft area on the boot just above the ankle pivot, the ankle area, where you can catch and push down on this and get it to bend. You cannot bend the shaft of the boot laterally like you can on some other models. Why is that important? Because if you are falling over and the bike lands on you, you need support of the tib fib in that area. If you stick your foot in a hole and it is stuck and held in place and you begin to fall over and your leg is pivoting, this boot has a lot of support. It'll help hold you in place. No product can prevent all injuries, but the idea is that we're trying to reduce the statistical likelihood of them, and this is, as far as protection, is top notch. The bottom line is this. I try everything. I can get any boot I want. This is the one that seems the best to me. That's an unvarnished, unbiased opinion. I don't get them for free. I pay for them. I just think they're fantastic. And I can't give you a more higher endorsement than that. And so that's probably a good time for me to check out of this review. We are Atomic-Moto, www.atomic-moto.com, home of the buyers. We are mission focused on finding great gear like these SG-12s and helping you choose them for yourself. If you have a question about them, send us an email, give us a phone call. We're more than happy to answer any questions. We have a great YouTube channel. We would love it if you clicked like on this video and click subscribe, ring that bell to catch future ones. And as I like to say, at the end of all of these, we hope to see you not in here, but out in the field on your bike. Take care.